Yeah, man. Life's crazy. Don't be whack. Don't be trash.
Man. Whack or trash 4 days a week.
Hey, welcome to the Kinda Sleepy podcast. I'm Knowledge. And who do I have sitting to my left here?
Well, whack or trash. 3 out of 7, 4 out of 7. Nah, I can't use my old intro no more, man. I'm technically a resident of the Carolinas again.
Oh, okay. So
Your boy from formerly up top.
right. Well, you still originally from up in that way, you know.
Yeah.
But now you're in the Carolinas again. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, so it's Carolina Rrell now. By way of Connecticut, by way of New York. It is brick up there right now.
Yeah. And who do I have sitting across from me?
What's up, y'all? It's your boy B Wood, aka your favorite DJ's favorite DJ, aka I'm just tired, y'all.
Sunday morning problems.
We lost the hour. I lost my mind.
I lost some Hennessy.
Oh man,
I need a
exhausted.
boat for all this rain.
Right. It's just, I'm thankful for every day that God allows me to wake up and see, but today is a miserable fucking day. I'm just going to be perfectly honest with y'all. I am fucking miserable today for a multitude of reasons, but I'm fucking miserable, okay? I'm just going to leave it at that. And we're going to get through this podcast, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and, all that. So, first off, I would like to say that I went to go see Captain Marvel last night. It's really good for the parts I stayed awake for because I'm old and washed, and I missed probably about 30% of the movie from taking cat naps. So, but yeah, it was pretty good. I think Annette Bening, I will never not see her as the lady from Casino, Sam Rothstein's wife. I just keep picturing like she was being all dignified and powerful, and I just couldn't help but see her taking her car and ramming it into the back of Sam Rothstein's car over and over in Casino. I couldn't help seeing Robert De Niro drag her through the hallway by her hands and hair, talking about, come with me now. Yeah, I couldn't help but to see that.
All I can see is the banana pimp.
It's not his fault. Yes, it is. Yes,
Golf
it is.
hustler. Golf.
But yeah, so yeah, I went to go see Wonder Woman last night. Excuse me, I keep saying Wonder Woman. It's Captain Marvel. Have y'all seen Captain Marvel yet?
I have not.
Oh, I would actually spend the money. It's the difference for me is like the way I rate movies these days is spend the money or fire stick. This is a spend the money.
All right, that's what I was waiting on. I was gonna wait till I find a good copy on.
Right. Nah, it's it's one of those things where like I say spend the money. I think the visual effects alone and the Stan Lee tributes from the intro as well as his cameo in the movie are enough to spend the money on. And then if you'll notice the credits at the end,
No spoilers.
No, I'm not gonna give a spoiler. But the credits at the end, the way that they did like the graphics in the background for the exit credits, it was very Black Panther-esque by the way they did theirs. It was just different enough to be still like visually appealing, but it was still dope. And also, this is not a spoiler because it's already been on everybody's blog. Nick Fury is from Alabama.
Hey.
He's from Huntsville, Alabama.
Vegas.
Huntsville, Alabama. That's where he said he was from, and it's confirmed in the movie. And yeah, so Nick Fury, Black Nick Fury, I guess. I don't know where White Nick Fury is from. He's probably from, Omaha or something. But Black Nick Fury is from Huntsville, Alabama. So yeah.
Word.
Next thing I want to talk about. Unless y'all got any more input on that, are y'all ready to see Endgame?
I don't know, man.
The Avengers Endgame.
Like, the season finale's coming. Do you really want it to die?
Here's the thing. I think it's the end of the Avengers. I think we still gonna see multiple sequels for these other superheroes though. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I can't wait for Black Panther 2, which somehow they're gonna respawn Eric Killmonger.
Oh yeah, of course.
I don't know how they would do it, but. It's the Marvel Universe.
Magic of movies, especially disbelief.
Yeah. Look, he had one of the flowers in his pocket or something because
the heart-shaped herb. Yeah. And somehow I was able to heal him.
Oh, he fell into a patch that didn't burn.
Right. He collapsed and ate it.
Yeah, something crazy like that.
Yeah. So, or they took the nanites or something and gave him a nanite heart.
So I wonder if he gonna still have them dreads. Because you know, for a hot 3-4 months, brothers was walking around with their dreads to one side.
Yo, I was
wearing little fake glasses.
Yeah. But you're not checking for what you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
Sir. Sit your entire ass down.
If I see another wool lapel jean jacket in July, I think they kill manga out here.
Right.
You got the measles. You
Sir.
ain't kill manga.
Sir, you have measles, mumps, and rubella. You're an anti-vaxxer, okay? We get it. Yeah. All right, sit your ass down. So I want to talk about a couple things. 3 big things, really, that are somewhat related in different ways. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna go on and give you guys the 3 up front, bottom line up front, for those of you listening to. The first thing, Amanda Seales kind of admitted to lying on Myron Rrell about, the sexual harassment and stuff like that. Second thing, this Michael Jackson documentary. Third thing, R. Kelly bitch ass. Yeah. So
Piper.
it's just so the reason I say they're all connected is because in each case there is a victim and a survivor. The thing is, when I say victim and survivor, it depends on where you are in your healing from whatever your situation is. Some people are still victims to their issues. Some people are survivors of those issues. It just depends on where you are mentally in your healing. And in some cases, but in every case, some in the milk ain't clean. The bees flew south. The milk's gone bad. All that. So all this shit is fucked up, and it's dealing with sexual trauma. So for those of you that are listening, this is your trigger warning. So yeah, just letting y'all know up front. So starting off with Amanda Seales and Myron Rrell. For those of you that don't know, Amanda Seales did a Instagram Live, where she said she accused some very famous athlete / intellectual of sexual harassment, that he was very rude to her on the phone, and that, she has a testament from multiple people about how they've been sexually harassed by him, and that in one case, they came to his apartment and he showed up at the door naked. She then, after people pressed her to name it, it was former Florida State University standout wideout and Rhodes Scholar, and now I think it's now Dr. Myron Rrell. Really educated black man, really positive black man from what I can tell. I know that nobody's perfect and everybody has skeletons in a closet, but this situation, it turns out that she did no background research. She did no vetting of this information that came her way, and she just threw him under the bus publicly because she didn't like the way that they interacted. Apparently, according to social media, which I actually got rid of all my social media, by the way. I deleted my Twitter. Well, the only thing I have is Facebook. I got rid of my Twitter, my Instagram, and my Snapchat. I did that last week.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's neither here nor there.
Yeah, we all in that.
Yeah. So the thing is, so she hasn't really been taken to task though. You have people saying that Myron Rrell should press charges against her for defamation of character and slander. It's not. I don't think it's technically libel because it wasn't printed, but this is slander and defamation of character. I want to say, if memory serves me correctly, from undergrad to the letter. So those are civil. I don't know if I think those are civil charges, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Those aren't criminal charges, so she wouldn't go to jail. For those of you who don't understand the difference between civil and criminal court, civil is where you get punitive damages, and criminal is where you actually go to jail.
For y'all waiting on your tax returns, that means you getting jail time, the other one you getting paid.
Facts. Facts. So here's my question to you guys. In this, Me Too and Believe Victims era, where I tend to often believe the victims first. I really do tend to believe them. Upon, verification, I believe them even stronger. But in these situations where it's like 1% of 1% of the situations where it's proven to be a false allegation or accusation, how do you think those should be handled?
That's a tough one, man. She just jussied us.
Yeah, we
God
could
damn.
we could throw that one on the
Let's throw
on the roster.
Let's throw Jesse ass on the fire.
He an adjective now, or a verb.
Let's
We
throw
all
that nigga on the fire.
Nah,
We finna cook that nigga at the end of this one.
Oh, we gonna get him.
Gotta cook
We gonna
Jesse.
get him. Why is it always the Jessies? Didn't we roast Jesse Jackson?
That was Al Sharpton.
Oh.
Yeah, I said Al Sharpton wanted to be a bad bitch.
Al Sharpton them damn cheap socks. Anyway, back to Miss Seals.
Look at my calves. These are calves of freedom, baby.
Boy, he took a selfie and got his whole body in it.
Right. had his booty tooted up like an Instagram model.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, let's get back to the
Looking
topic.
like a tummy tea model.
the quote unquote fitness models of IG.
I'm about to tap out already.
Ma'am, I have never seen a workout plan of yours.
All right, back on topic. But nah, she set the movement back, and it's
Can one, and this is one thing I want to touch on with that. Can one false accusation set the entire movement back? Considering the people who will use this as a cherry-picked flag, a lot of times didn't intend to believe victims anyway.
if she got that status in the community as being Miss Woke,
Now she
the
does have
authority
that.
on wokeness, correctness, and righteousness, people, they gonna use it the way they need to use it to paint their narrative.
And that's true.
And that comes from both sides of they. That could be us.
Yeah.
Brothers sitting back like, man, it ain't good enough for a dude to have a doctorate and him just not kiss your ass.
They just want to tear black men down.
Exactly.
You
And
know.
then the other days, look at these animals.
Yeah.
If you got that authority, yeah, they can cherry pick that all day.
Yeah, I mean, if they control the narrative, this is why I've often said we need a black media conglomerate of sorts,
We do.
because they control the narrative 90% of the time. I mean, BET is owned by Viacom, of course. The OWN network is beholden to certain people, which won't allow Oprah to tell our stories a lot of times the way
There's
they
an
need
image
to
to
be
be
told.
held.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? We really have very, very pure black media outlets.
Well, we got Revolt.
I want to say that's it, really. As far as a national level, like I know that there are a lot of smaller radio stations and podcast networks and magazines and things like Very Smart Brothers or even Awesomely Lovey, blogs and stuff like that. We do have those, but most of those aren't really giving us. They are not large enough really to change a national conversation or shape a national conversation or narrative.
Yeah. That's the
And so
problem.
that's a big issue I have.
Right.
And Amanda Seals has a international platform. So this is very unfortunate that she found herself on the wrong end of this.
Yeah.
B. Wood.
So this is a very tricky yet timely conversation for me to have. The thing that kind of strikes me about it is that it is often, I guess people are so quick to jump at an allegation, right? And I don't want to say that we shouldn't believe victims or that we should just automatically just kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater. But I think that is the reason why we do have this thing called due process. So this is kind of a difficult situation because you've got basically it's a he said she said scenario. The thing that really kind of disgusts me about it is the fact that you have a black woman who makes these allegations. All of a sudden everybody automatically jumps in on her side, but there is no due process, there is no investigation, there is no kind of truth vetting, and then it comes out that she lied about the entire thing. So it's hard to kind of walk that line of,
Right.
well, how am I supposed to advocate for you or be an ally for you when you're out here doing things that are just
Detrimental to
just flat out wrong. And it's also a very sensitive subject for the three of us to sit here and discuss, because God forbid you mention something against a black woman or a woman in general, and then all of a sudden, oh, you're just a misogynist. Oh, you are, you're out of line, and you just your statements are based in patriarchy and all this other nonsense. And it has nothing to do.
Don't call it nonsense. Please don't call it nonsense.
No. We got that kind of energy today. I got that kind of energy today. Where I'm gonna call it nonsense because I know where I know where my motives are and what my motive and what it is that I'm trying to get across. Right. And it's not the fact that I'm trying to talk down to women or trying to mansplain or whatever. It's the fact that I'm coming at you with the same energy that I would come at anybody with.
Yeah, keep it level.
Right. I'll tell you. I'm going to say two things. Number one, I haven't shared this publicly, but I'm going to share it now. I've been falsely accused before. Mm-hmm. And here was the scenario. So I was hanging out with a young lady who I was friends with, and we were having some drinks, and I was like, yo, I think it's about time for you to go home. You've had a little much. She was like, okay, cool. So we're on the way back. I have drinks myself. So I walk her to her place. And we get there, and I've sat on the couch. I'm like, here's a blanket. You good? She like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, okay, cool. She said, hey, before you leave, would you mind taking off my pants? I don't like sleeping in pants. I said, yeah, that's cool. I can do that. And I did that. I took her pants off. I folded them up, and I put them on the chair next to her couch.
Hey, hold on. What's the Instagram name?
Trust me, me and this young lady are not even acquaintances or associates. If I bumped into her, I probably would just turn the other way.
Gotcha.
So she so I folded her pants up, and I put them on the chair next to her couch. And I said, okay, are you good? I'm finna go. Do you need anything before I leave? She said, can you take my underwear off too? Because I don't like sleeping in underwear. So I'm like, okay. I took a deep breath and I said, here we go. So I took those off. I folded those up neatly and put them on the chair next to her couch. So then she lays on the couch in a very suggestive manner and says, okay, I think I'm good now. I said, okay, I'm about to leave. And so I turned to head toward the door. She said, wait, come here. I said, what's up? And so I walk over toward her, and she initiates a sexual encounter with me at this point. Now, was I attracted to her? Absolutely. Were we cool? Absolutely. All that. And I was like, okay, well, this is how she gonna carry it. Then shoot. I was single, wasn't attached to anybody. I'm more than willing to oblige if you initiate a consensual sexual encounter.
Right.
You literally guided it every step of the way.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're done. I leave. I make sure to lock her door as I leave, Boom. I get to where we were the next day, and I speak to her. I'm like, hey, what's up? And she's acting awkward. And so she gives me a quick wave and then walks off. Like, okay, that's interesting. Whatever. So then her and her friend come to my office later that day, and they were laughing about it. They was like, her friend was like, ooh, y'all just too grown and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I'm like, I'm just saying, I mean, we're adults, we do things. It is what it is, and I just left it at that.
Yeah.
So then later on, like I noticed for like a whole week, she was avoiding me, acting funny. And so I sent her an email. I said, yo, what's wrong? Like, you're not getting weird on me, are you? Just asking like, what's up? She said, no, I don't really want to rock with you. I feel like you took advantage of me. I feel like you weren't gentlemanly enough to just tuck me in and leave. I feel like, you really did me dirty. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on. And so I'm sitting here thinking in the back of my mind, look, if you woke up with dick regret, that's one thing. Like if we had a sexual encounter, you woke up the next day and you regretted it, you could have just told me that. But don't try to paint me as something that I'm not. Because at that point, when you start using words like you took advantage of me, you weren't man enough to just leave me in my safe place, when you literally initiated and directed a sexual encounter with me. Like, how was I supposed to feel about that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's never been me. Like, I've never had to take no booty. I've never been the guy to get you drunk or get you high so I could get down with you. I've never been that dude, point blank, period. That's never been me. And so the thing is, to kind of push it at me like that, I was like, yo, this is really fucked up. And so I examined myself up and down that night to make sure that I didn't do anything out of line, and I really didn't. But the first thing that would have happened had she come out with that story, oh no, I would have been branded with the scarlet letter.
Always.
Right.
You know, and I'll never say her name. I will never put her out there like that. I never will. I don't care, you know, put me on the stand, testify. I'll never do it, you know. But the thing is, the reality of it is, my life could have been ruined in that very moment. Now, again, I want to say that 1% of situations are false accusations. Let me say that up front. But I just want to say that when it does happen, it does ruin, it ruins the way you even look at people and your ability to trust people in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
Number one.
Right.
Going back to what you said about sometimes not really wanting to engage in conversation, or when you do engage in conversation, you immediately get labeled. I've been drug on social media for the way I've said things or asked questions before because it sounded steeped in patriarchy. I had a question once upon a time that said, how is it that some women will have a real issue with the image of black women in the media, and say that you're viewed as Jezebels and things of that nature, and you hate these images, but then you celebrate Olivia Pope. And this is, and my argument with that has always been, Olivia Pope, I have no issues with Olivia Pope being a sexual human being. My issue was with, you smashed the president and his homeboy, and then the only black male suitor you had, like, I stopped watching after that second season because the only black suitor you had was emasculated in front of the entire audience by you. That was my only issue.
I call it whitewash status.
Okay, I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I was like, this powerful, intelligent, educated, boss status woman is literally a dedicated side chick. I wasn't cool with that.
Yeah. But
I was like, Olivia could have been, you know, the president herself, or been kingmaker. And she was, to a certain extent, kingmaker. But I just didn't understand, like, how is it you can celebrate this person? And when I said it, they was like, oh, so we can't be sexual beings. Like, in all 3 seasons, she only had sex with 3 people. I'm like, I don't care about her number of sexual partners. I care about the proximity in which they were.
Yeah,
Right.
the whole team.
You know, and that's just that was my issue. I was like, that seemed like hypocritical to me, and I got drugged for that. And then there was another time where I was just trying to relate to women and say, hey, I really want you to protect and defend yourself. And I understood how this could be, you know, seen as mansplaining or patriarchal or whatever. But I said, you know, for the cost of like a bundle or 2, you can get a pistol. Or for the cost of a bag or 2, you can get a pistol. You know, I was just trying, like, I don't know the cost of a Birkin bag or a Gucci bag, or, well, I kind of know the cost of a Gucci or Louis or Michael Kors bag because I bought them. But I know for the cost of one, you can get a pistol. I asked somebody, yo, how much are these packs of hair costing? They was like $200 a bag. I'm like, $200 a bag? What? For 2 packs of hair, you can get you a Glock.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I know that a lot of women do know the prices of these things. And so I'm like, you know, if you're concerned about your safety, you know, for the same cost as this, and I see how it could be considered mansplaining.
Yeah.
But the comparison, like, for dudes, I would be like, shit, for the cost of 2 pairs of Jordans, you can get you a Glock.
Yeah. And
I would have done the same thing.
And that's the thing about being educated and trying to educate other people. It don't matter who you're talking to. It's them looking at you thinking you feel like you're on a higher pedestal because you're trying to drop knowledge from your perspective. So even I do small things about like what you're talking about. You can buy this with that. Or instead of buying these Jordans that just came out yesterday, everybody in the mall waiting, I'm walking past Foot Locker. They're like, why you ain't getting the new J's? Oh, because I'm about to reinvest this and this and this.
Right.
Like, you can do this. And people look at me like I'm condescending.
So my thing is the way I approach these situations now. First of all, I'm very reluctant to even talk about these issues sometimes, like especially with gender and sex. I'll talk about race all day. Gender and sex, I won't talk about those issues. I remember when I posted up that pic of Gucci Man in the pink and green romper and said he looked like an AKA probate. Like he was in an AKA probate. He was like fall 18 or something like that. You know, somebody I knew from way back in the day jumped on there and was like, I'm really shocked at you gender shaming him or something like that, or something like that. And so I just deleted the whole post because I was like, once you get something shaming in your post, it sometimes becomes a slippery slope.
It's a wrap.
And it don't matter what comes in front of the shaming.
Yeah.
Gender shaming.
Fat shaming and all that.
Car shaming, season shaming. Look at you. You can't stand spring. I can smell it in your breath.
So, stupid. But the way I approach these things now, if I choose to approach them even, you know, is that I just listen to everybody who chooses to engage in it, whether they be a dragging or whether it be genuine education, and I ask questions, but sometimes I'm even afraid to ask the questions for fear that I may get drugged for not knowing better.
So same thing with me. Either I get drugged for not knowing or people think I'm being funny.
Right.
Like,
Right.
No, for real. And I got to tell my girl that too. I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. I'm asking. I'm being serious. I really don't know.
Yeah.
So
Right.
even like I said, I just relocated back down south. We was going to the grocery store last night. I was like, where is that store at again?
Yeah. And she's like, oh, you being funny.
Oh, no, I'm dead serious. She's like, oh, okay.
Well,
I
the
got
thing
you.
is, like,
Stuff has changed.
see, that's a
I
whole
ain't
nother.
down here in so long.
That's a topic in and of itself, because sometimes I be really serious, like, no, I really don't know. Can you please explain it to me? And sometimes people just be like, you too smart to not know. No, if I'm asking
really
you, I
don't.
genuinely don't know. Sometimes I don't get it.
I
Right.
really don't.
I don't understand everything. Sorry, I was gonna get on my
I've had
soapbox.
the exact same interaction where it's just like enlighten me, because this is not my world. And
Right.
So I'm trying to become more inclusive of, you know, your particular existence,
Yeah.
or what it is that you have going on, but I need you to educate me.
Yeah.
Right? It is better that I ask you to tell me, perfect example, the whole, like, if we talk about, you know, with regard to gender and the use of pronouns, me coming up,
Wanted to touch on that. Yeah,
that was not my thing. We did, like, there were
only
two-
knew him and her.
him and her, he
or
and she.
he and she. Yeah,
Right, that was it.
and so now it's expanded.
Yeah, now it's, you know, my pronouns are, and the whole list. And I'm like, well, that just wasn't a thing.
Them and like,
Them,
and I don't get
they.
it. Like, I know a young lady. She's very, very talented artist, very, very smart young lady. And she describes herself as a pansexual, a feminine presenting pansexual whose pronouns are them and they. And I was like, okay.
How does that grammatically work?
And that's my question. Like, I don't know. Like, and the thing is, I feel like I'm not embarrassed to ask, and I'm not afraid to ask. But sometimes when you ask, you don't know the type of person that you're going to be dealing with, whether they're going to be the nigga you should know better, I'm gonna drag you type, or whether they're gonna actually be the understanding, let me explain it for you type.
Right.
Because I didn't understand. Okay, so I knew what LGBTQ was. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer. But then I saw an IA on there. And I was like, okay, not sure what the I and the A are. I know that the A is asexual, people who just don't identify or have a sexual
What
preference.
they call it,
with.
sexual fluid or whatever.
Well, I think
neutral or
that's
something.
intersex. That's the I.
See,
So
let me just shut up now then.
and the thing is, the pansexual, that means you're attracted to people of all who identify as all sorts of genders and types.
Let me pull this up on Urban Dictionary before
So,
they say
no,
man's
please don't
way.
pull it up on Urban Dictionary. Jesus, don't not Urban Dictionary of all
Jesus, take
places.
the wheel.
And crash the whip. Damn it,
I
boy.
wonder what Wikipedia got on this.
Oh, hell no. But no, it's one of those things where, like, it's like, the thing is, I want to be, be accommodating and accepting of what you identify as, but if I don't understand, you're not obligated to explain it to me either. I don't want you to think that you're obligated to explain it to me. But at the same time, it would be like nice for me to know so that I can either A, properly address you and properly govern myself as it relates to you, and B, so that if somebody else needs to know, I can properly educate them too.
Right. So kind of on the same like. We were talking about this the other. It's hard being woke, right? It's
oh man.
It is I'm trying to extend a hand and understand more about your world and your existence. But for you to just turn and use that against me and to come at me when I'm legitimately seeking knowledge and trying to understand about your world is false. I mean, would you rather I just spout off at the mouth and say something that's insensitive with no context for it? I mean, what's the middle ground? Like, how can I engage with you? If you won't at least take the time to try to explain to me. I mean, I have the same issues it's similarly when people come to me and ask me questions about race or being black or,
right.
My experience. I have no problem sitting there. Like, if you have a genuine inquiry and want to know, I will genuinely answer your question.
Right.
It is not, and I don't, really care, what the question is, but if you come to me in a way that's, I hesitate to say respectful because sometimes it's meant to be. You have to sort of judge the person's intentions, right?
Right.
And I'm not. And if I come to you genuinely with a question, even though my question may be disrespectful or you might be viewed as disrespectful,
right?
But I'm coming to you to learn, not to be disrespectful, but just to gain that knowledge. But so often, you just kind of get
you should know better.
Yeah, just
or
slapped in the face for it.
Yeah.
And it discourages people from wanting to have the dialogue around, a lot of these types of issues. And so we kind of separate apart and everybody kind of goes to their corners.
Right. I was trying to get, I met a young lady and I don't know how she identifies, but I was like, yo, and I also have a podcast, the KNWLDG podcast, where we talk about things like being woke is kind of difficult and a lot of things we just don't understand. And that's part of the reason that we started this thing. And I said, we're pretty funny. She said, ha. This is what she said, ha. Most heterosexual cisgender men think they're funny. Huh? I was just like, I just said, oh, okay. And I just kept it moving. I was like, what was that? What was the need for that? Like, but that was just my experience. Like, I was like,
it's like I have a,
and this happens from time to time.
I have a real problem, and this is gonna be a problematic statement. I'm just gonna put the caveat and the warning out there now.
We on that type of time today.
I just have a problem with the knee-jerk reaction of people who claim to be so woke that that everything is offensive. Like you'll rarely find me take the argument of the white male culture, but one thing that they kind of do hit on is that we've overblown the PC.
I think we shot past the mark. I want to say probably around the time Obama got elected.
Fair enough.
And the reason I use that as a benchmark is because when Obama got elected, it literally was a coalition of the willing. People from all walks of life and backgrounds coming together and saying, hey, we're going to elect this man because we do believe in hope and change and we do believe America can be better. I do think he tapped into and ignited that. And while PC culture was a thing, it seems to, in the past 10 years or so, have moved forward to the point where it's gotten extreme in some cases. There are some cases really where it's extreme. My thing is, if I don't get it, it's a slippery slope too, though. Because if I say something like, well, if I don't understand, it's not my fault, or I'm not going to listen to you when you talk about, you know, being trans age, where, yeah, I'm 60, but I'm going to identify as 25. You know, when I say, nigga, that's some bullshit. Like, if I say that, somebody can come back and be like, oh, well, you identify as black, right? Oh, that's some bullshit. So it's kind of hard to just dismiss it all, but that's what a lot of people who engage in outrage culture, that I call it, bank on. It is such thing I think is called outrage culture.
There is. And my thing with all of that is, you know, being in New York, I really don't care. I'm gonna piss you off. We can have this conversation or not, but I'm gonna get this out. You gonna get what you gotta say out, and we'll go from there. So a dude that tells me, oh, I'm trans age. Okay, what's that mean, bro? Yo, well, the government says I'm 65. I'm like, well, Father Time does too. I identify as 25. I'm like, I don't get it. And then he's like, well, don't you identify as black? I'm like, yeah, because that's what my DNA and science says.
Right.
That this is a fact. This is proven. Like, we can go figure this out for real right now. We know that you ain't 25. You can identify as 25.
Right.
Don't make it true.
Well, I use that as an example, but I mean, there are lots of different ways.
Go
right.
extra with that. And that's my whole thing. Like, I'm willing to have a conversation and accept whatever you are willing to believe in, as long as it don't bother me, my people, and my family. But I need that same respect from you. So if I tell you I don't get it, but that's you. I don't need you to hold that against me like I'm being misogynistic or closed-minded. It's like, no, I get it.
So here's a scenario for you. So you're you're at a restaurant and you hold the door open for a woman and she walks in and they say, thank you. And you say, you're welcome, ma'am. Mm-hmm. And they turn around. Now, granted, this is very oversimplified, very rudimentary for those of you listening. And she turned around and said, did you just misgender me?
I'm going to say possibly. What do you identify as?
Right.
But the thing is, I'm not going to get caught in that trap.
But the thing is, but let's say you didn't know to say that. Somebody's going to take that, make a Facebook post, take your picture and say, look at this heteronormative cisgendered fuck who just misgendered me at, Bennigan's. And then that post can go viral, and now everybody's looking at you as trash. And the thing is, I think that sometimes the thing about outrage culture is that outrage culture is so pervasive right now in our country that it does not allow room for grace and forgiveness.
Or education.
Or education. Like, at what point, like, the thing is, I call myself a recovering hotep all the time. For real. Like, and I'm not even joking. I'm a recovering hotep. Like, if you had talked to me in undergrad, like, I was like,
man, where your dashikis?
In the closet, I guarantee you.
Right next to the kufis.
Bruh, I got pictures of me in kufis, so it don't even matter. Like, I'm a recovering hotep. Anybody that's known me, since college will tell you I'm a recovering hotep. Am I still just as militant and adamant about black people in this country being treated unequally and deserving justice? Absolutely. Am I gonna back down from that? Absolutely not. But does my pro-blackness spill over into black patriarchy and some of the ignorance that we see within the quote unquote black woke hotep community? Hell no. Because there's a meme going around that says, I'll never be so pro-black that I defend black men raping black children until all the white rapists are convicted.
That's just messy right there.
But that's what people are doing. Like this. Okay, let's go and slide over into Michael Jackson. Have y'all seen the documentary?
Nah, that might be something I do later on today though. Because it's 2 parts, right?
Yeah, it's a 2-part documentary.
I got it on DVR, but I've heard enough about it.
Okay, let's be real about this. All right. So when Michael Jackson went through those trials the first time, I was much younger, and I believed that MJ did not molest them kids. I don't think that MJ. I think that Michael Jackson was very problematic in his relationship with children. Hell yes. I think something was broken in Michael Jackson. I think that he was wrong as shit for staying in the bed with kids, and whatever Jesus juice was, I don't want not damn parts of it. And my children will not be allowed to partake of the Jesus juice either. Fuck you mean. But do I think that Michael Jackson molested those kids and had sexual relationship with those children? I do not. And here's why. When you look at all the details surrounding those earlier cases and you see how Michael Jackson settled those out of court so as to not have to go through a civil trial and all that, which really, like we said earlier, the civil trial is about compensation. So as to spare himself that. And so he ended up going through the criminal trial where he was found not guilty. A lot of details came out about his weird ass relationship with children and weird views about childhood. I get it. That shit was weird as fuck and really fucked up. I don't think MJ molested them kids because the two accusers now, both when they were younger, said he didn't do anything to them. The accusers that he had back then, a lot of them were found to be, false accusations and that they were guided into saying certain things. Specifically with Wade Robson, one of the guys, the choreographer, who's one of the guys that's in this new documentary. Michael Jackson's niece was like, no, this is bullshit because Wade was in a relationship with me for 10 years. And this doesn't even add up. So it's a lot of things about, they're not presenting any new evidence. And like we said earlier when we were talking about Myron Rrell and Amanda Seales, we have to do some vetting behind these things. I do typically believe victims. But it becomes a very, very weird scenario when you say, yeah, it happened. Wait, no, it didn't. Wait, yeah, it happened. No, it didn't. Wait, now 20 years later, let me make a documentary about it. And Wade Robson's own family was like, yo, this is some bullshit. He's out for money. They were like, he used to be a drug addict. He's done things like this before for attention and money. He's out for money. Don't believe this shit. That's his own family. Now, granted, I know everybody ain't got, the best family or the best relationship with their family. And some people's family will throw them smooth under the bus. I think that if Khloe did something really shitty to Kim, the Kardashians would throw her under the bus.
Facts.
Khloe is the Meg of that family. Right. Let's just be real about it.
Damn.
So I just really feel like that shit would happen.
Frankenberry, but I'm gonna get burnt for that. Wow.
But no, I just think I the snippets of the documentary that I watched, I was like, Mike, we know Mike was sick. Do I think that Mike deserved to be chastised and looked at crazy for some of that shit he was doing? Absolutely. We know Mike ass sick. I don't think Mike molested them kids.
So let me interject with block knowledge. So this was a federal investigation. How long did the feds investigate him?
10 years.
10 years. Feds don't spend 10 years and not find nothing on you. They find something. 10 years of federal money investigating you. Yes, they gonna find something. The feds getting your business. Ask Tekashi. He was 6 days. Once he found out, he was gone.
I'm singing.
Second thing is, y'all notice the trend yet? When black people, stars at least, start acquiring things of value. Mike had his royalties. He had the Beatles catalog. And then it comes out that around the time that all these allegations came out, he owned 50% of all of Sony's catalogs. Yeah, he did. And somebody said that he made a statement that as soon as I make this purchase, life is going to change for me.
I do think, now here's the thing, okay, so I'm glad you said that. I think that Mike being set up by Sony is way more plausible than Bill Cosby and that shit about NBC.
Yeah,
that's bullshit. Let's be honest.
He got too many people with the same story.
Right. Now the thing is about Mike being set up by Sony. Sony is pretty much a multi-billion-dollar corporation, considering everything they do. For Mike to own a chunk of that amount of money, I know niggas that'll kill you for $1,500.
Yeah. Right.
Imagine the millions and how much money Sony already has, slush accounts and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. I think that there was some in the milk ain't clean with that. I can agree with that. I can't necessarily say black people acquiring things. Here's why. We ain't really seen Oprah go down.
True.
Tyler Perry.
They tried.
Barack clean as shit.
They tried.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, to that point, let's think about this though. When you talk about Tyler Perry, when you talk about Oprah, they built their empire pretty much from the ground up, right? So it wasn't that they would.
I think Michael Jackson kind of did too.
Right, but to your point, Mike actually purchased Sony's
he started buying out
up
things.
Right.
Yeah.
He started to take stuff from them.
Right. And
right.
that's where I think the difference lies.
I think
you can
so.
have
You
your
take
own,
food,
but you can't have
you
all.
can't take
Right.
food off my plate.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
they got nervous when they saw that.
And so do I think that there's a back end with Sony on this? Yeah, I do. I really do.
I mean, look,
I can see that.
Conspiracy theories have always abounded around Michael Jackson for as long as he's an
alien,
right? I mean, we've heard everything. I think the difference here, and kind of to slide into the to kind of as we transition to the next story, which I'm not looking to go there just yet, but the difference is that Mike's been gone for how many years now? 5, 6, 10? 10 years.
10.
Yeah. So he's been gone for 10 years, and you've got nobody to sit there and basically argue against what it is that these individuals are saying. Now, again, we don't want to get into the whole we don't believe victims. We've already, I think, plastered that caveat across this podcast enough times. But at the same time, I think that there is something to the fact that you've got you're the accused in this case has no recourse to tell their side of the story.
Yeah.
Right.
Not unless we give him some of that Jesus juice and it resurrects.
Yeah. And this is why you said that. This is just something else I wanted to say that gets me in trouble because I believe the victims until proven otherwise, right?
Right.
But my thing is, what I would ask them, and this is just me wanting to know so I know how to better relate to the next victim, why'd you change your story and why'd you wait so late? And that's not me being an asshole. That's me wanting to know the psyche behind why now.
I can understand why rapists sometimes do not immediately report.
And I get it because, the general answer is going to be well, this is a different climate. I feel like I'd be believed more.
You would have more faith in the system because there are people who are willing to support you, whereas then it was like, child, you just trying to take down a black man. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, let's and not to swerve too far off, but let's touch on one thing that you mentioned when black people started acquiring things. I think that Michael Jackson was more pervasive. Michael Jackson, I think that the black community broke Michael Jackson's heart.
I think
We
he
accused
broke
him.
our heart too.
Well, I think we accused him of wanting to be white. We accused him of bleaching his skin. I don't think that. I think Michael Jackson really did have vitiligo. I don't think he bleached his skin, but it took literally 10 years ago. Like I stopped really saying that Michael Jackson was trying to be white by the time he died. But once again, my favorite rapper of all time, Phonte. We talked about this once before. He pinned a blog on, I want to say July 1st, 2009, shortly after Michael Jackson died. And the blog was called "My Hero Ain't Molesting Bitch Ass Kids."
Yeah, direct and to the point.
Yeah. So, but no, he made a very valid point that I'm going to read right here. He said, and he's quoting somebody else. He said, as echoed by my man Scorpies of the house music duo Wendy Moto in his excellent blog, Michael Jackson never tried to disown or separate himself from his blackness at any point in his career. In fact, he was probably the most openly pro-black pop entertainer of his time. Michael Jackson, ashamed to be black? I mean, this was the same guy who, 1, portrayed black people as kings and queens in ancient Egypt in the Remember the Time video. 2, called Tommy Mottola, his then label boss, a devil and a racist. Right there, that goes to your point. 3, saying white man's got to make a change live on the Grammys in 1988. 4, sang about a beautiful African woman and Liberian girl. 5, featured an African chant at the end of Wanna Be Starting Something. 6, donated over $25 million to the UNCF. 7, saying I ain't scared of no sheets in black or white and upped the ante by morphing into a Black Panther at the video's end. 8, wrote a song called They Don't Really Care About Us with a Spike Lee directed video that featured prisoners raising the Black Power fist. And 9, We Are the World and USA for Africa, anyone? Once you pull the receipts, once you pull the receipts, Michael Jackson.
They should have buried him with a beret.
Yeah,
I mean a black one.
Yeah.
Quietly, he should have had a black leather jacket with all them zippers on that motherfucker, okay? So I'm just saying, like, and the thing is, here's the thing, and I've never been one to even require unequivocal empirical biological data and evidence for cases of rape, child molestation, and sexual assault. I've never been that person. However, with the nature of the allegations and with the nature of the rescinding of stories and with the changing of stories and the fact that one of these guys, when he was going through the trial the first time, his story and his brother's story changed 3 or 4 times, I ain't fucking with that. I'm in the words of Phonte, my hero ain't molest them bitch ass kids. Okay, I'm gonna go to 2300 Jackson Street and light a candle tomorrow in Gary, Indiana. Okay, just for Michael Jackson. All right, my hero. I'm just gonna go and say it, man. I'm gonna double down on it, man. I'm just gonna go and stand in this. This is the energy I'm on. My hero ain't molest them bitch ass kids. Now I'm gonna tell you who did molest some bitch ass kids.
Here we go. Bring it.
That fuck nigga Robert Kelly. Now, I got a question. Who, this lady in Chicago, whoever auntie this is that paid his motherfucking bail, y'all need to end her motherfucking businesses, including the daycare that she motherfucking on. Secondly, somebody done paid R. Kelly child support, that back child support of $161,000. Now, I got a friend that texted me yesterday about this. And she said, hold on. Matter of fact, I'm going to read y'all the text message. Shout out to Songbird. That's what I'm going to call her. I'm going to call her Songbird. She texted me about this. And I had to think about it for a while. She said, I really want to be loved the way these hoes love Kels.
Ooh.
I said, damn.
That's that Stevie J type of love.
For real, that's that pimp shit. Like that's when you destroy the world around somebody so that they only see you.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna say something to y'all, and this is gonna be a major pause moment. Okay, I'm just prefacing it with that. It's gonna be a major pause moment. R. Kelly is claiming to be broke. Mm-hmm. R. Kelly has no reason to be broke. R. Kelly should actually be teaching seminars. And y'all forgive me. I'm about to go somewhere real left. I'm going to come right back, but I'm going to go somewhere real left.
I'm looking at it from the point of logic.
This is a pause moment. I want to know what type of dick R. Kelly is dropping off on these aunties to make them come out of pocket for a total of $261,000 over the course of a week and a half. I might give you $16.10 dick. I might give you $161 worth of dick. On a good night, I may give you $1,610 worth of dick. $161K and another $100K worth of dick. What kind of dick is R. Kelly dropping off in these aunties to make them pay over $250,000 over the course of 10 days?
Bro, I haven't got nothing for that.
Nigga.
I ain't got nothing for that.
I'm sitting here really like, bro, I can't call nobody right now and get $161.
Yeah, that's a fact.
161,000, my nigga.
I got you for 161 cents.
I appreciate that, my G. I'm talking about a woman in my life, bro.
You can go to QT right now.
I'm talking about a woman in my life, okay? I have a woman in my life that I can call right now for $161. So I'm trying to figure out, what is he doing to these aunties?
Who bailed him out last week?
So the lady who bailed him out on the criminal charges was a friend who he had just met like less than a year ago on a cruise. And she owns a restaurant and a daycare in the Chicagoland area. And she bailed him out. The person who paid his child support for him to get out of prison, well, get out of jail this time, apparently is another female family friend.
They family got dope. But yeah, you saw where they shut down the GoFundMe for that shit. Props to GoFundMe for that. For canceling that.
They should have never gave you niggas GoFundMe. Between burials.
Yo, real quick. During this whole Pied Piper shit, there's only been one thing playing in the back of my head. It ain't
bounce, bounce, bounce. Sorry. I couldn't help it.
It ain't no ignition. It ain't no step in the name of love. I ain't believe I can fly. I just keep hearing that bridge or that hook on the J song. Jigga Kelly not guilty. It plays over and over the back of my head. I'm like, that nigga was telling us right then. You did it. You singing about it.
So that shit's funny. That shit's funny. But no, like I'm sitting here like they should have never gave you niggas GoFundMe. Like,
So first of all, I don't understand how this woman who paid his bail could do so, realizing the juxtaposition of one of your businesses is a daycare.
Man, if they want to get crafty, they can turn this into a whole child sex slave ring.
Yeah.
Orchestrated RICO.
Now let's talk about that interview where he said, "Oh, so now it's a problem because you're not getting paid no more. They sold their daughters to me." Nigga, did you just admit to child trafficking?
I'm fighting for my life.
You fighting for your booty is what it sounds like. You going to jail, nigga. Like,
boy, they gonna get some of that boy meat.
I'm trying to tell you. You gonna get in the, it's the remix to Ignition. Yeah, it is. Guard! You gonna sing this song and take this schlong. Oh, you tripping. Guard! Like,
hey, Mr. Piper.
You gonna finish your cornbread?
I got a pipe for you to pound.
The jokes keep coming.
Right.
Pause.
So, okay, but here's the thing, though. And this is a question. We about to wrap it up. But this is a question I want to ask y'all. I just saw on Instagram. Well, I deleted my Instagram, but I saw on Facebook. I was scrolling looking for a certain post that I wanted to say, but it's already been deleted, I think. But I just saw on Facebook where somebody screenshotted on Instagram. Marcus Houston, who is 37 years old, just got engaged to Chris Stokes' 19-year-old niece. Now, she's 19.
Yeah, he redshirted that.
And so
yeah. He was at the volleyball game.
Bro, that should not be funny to me, but it is. Like, it's problematic that it's funny. Stop it.
True.
Hate you. But no, so I'm looking at it like this. So Chris Stokes has been accused of child molestation by Raz-B when he was doing the B2K thing and all that. Said that Marcus Houston was also a party to it.
Low-key shout out to him because he was one of the first as a guy to
come forth and say, it happened to me.
That's a tough joint.
Yeah, for real. But, so does this kind of confirm some of that? Like that maybe he was taught to groom by Chris Stokes and then it came back on old girl. Now, she's a beautiful young lady, but I can't do nothing with a 19-year-old. Like, I'm not even attracted to anybody that age.
Bruh.
I can admit when they're attractive. Like, Yara Shahidi is like, what, 19?
Yeah, they can be physically attractive, and she's
the older girl
mature.
The older girl from Chloe and Halle, she's 19 because the younger one is 16, the older one is 19. I can say those are cute girls.
Yeah,
those are attractive young ladies. That's where it ends for me.
But as far as a relationship, mentally, sexually, nah.
What are we talking about,
bro? Look, so I'm just gonna call them coworkers. So I spent a week. Actually, I spent a couple weeks going different places, traveling with different parts of my team, and there's some younger ones on my team. So I got the rental car because I'm the old man in the group.
Right.
Playing music, trying to appease everybody. What are you listening to? What are you talking about? I'm becoming that guy. And they saying things. I'm like, hold on, what does that mean? And then everything is this and that and a finesse and this. And I'm like, what? How do y'all live life with this?
My upcoming book, which I'm
it.
elbow deep into, I have a chapter on that called The State of Hip Hop, aka the Old Nigga Rant.
And I'm only between 8 and 4 years older than them. I just don't get it. I'm like, this is how y'all move?
We grew up on drug dealer music. They grew up on drug user music.
Yeah, look.
That's the difference.
And that's the classic saying, like, I was born in the 80s. All of us, I'm pretty sure, was born in the 80s. We respect 70s. The drug. Oh.
Shout out.
Hey.
You knew the drug dealers and the pops.
Hey. Yesterday I was dressed like an 80s drug dealer.
He was dressed like a retired drug dealer yesterday.
Really?
He should have been on mine. All he needed was a gold chain.
Hey, I had the full Adidas.
I was going to say, did you have a Kango?
Real shit. I thought he was Fat Cat.
Wow.
I thought he was Fat Cat. I'm sitting over there in the side looking like Pappy Mason, like for real. For those of y'all that don't know, that's Queen. That's old Queen's drug dealers right there.
Man, I'm about to go back home, watch the Mac. But nah, our culture was, us growing up, we respected the drug dealer. They respect the drug abuser.
Yeah, I respect the one who got shot. I respect the shooter.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the difference. But no, I think that here's my thing though. I know with me having recently been engaged in ring shopping, I know it take me
Shout
at
out
least.
To you.
Yeah, well.
Just pass me your notebook.
Yeah, I'll tell you who my jeweler was that I put the down payment on. Anyway, I'm not gonna touch on that. So, damn, I done lost my train of thought. 18 months is when it took me that long to really realize and know, hey, this is what I want my forever to look like. If she's 19 years old, 18 months ago, unless she's just about to turn 20 or so, 18 months ago, she was still underage.
Shit, in 18 months, a 19-year-old ain't gonna be the same person.
Right.
Right.
You know, because that age range between 18 and 24 is where you do the most developing and changing and finding out who you are.
Yeah.
And so.
But let's also, again, let's not.
I don't want to. Yeah.
We're not gonna age shame.
but let's also remember that, you know, he got engaged to another person. So the question that I would ask is, what role did she play in all of this?
What do you mean?
So for a lot of women, it is their.
Is this about to be a fast tail girl argument?
No, it doesn't have to be. But I mean,
I'm just asking before, because I don't want to get canceled.
We've already admitted that it's hard to be woke all the time.
I don't want to get banned from the studio.
Look, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right.
All right.
But let's just you know, a lot of women have, you know, these dreams of, I want to be married, I want to be taken care of, and again, you know, that's not patriarchy speaking. That's
some of our experience that we've seen. Women want to be.
That's experience. Yeah. And I'll speak from my experience. That was my experience.
Okay.
So, you know, the question is, like, maybe she was the one who kind of made the initiation.
Pushed the marriage narrative?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who pushed that. And he was like, hey, okay, all right, cool, let's do it.
Yeah, we don't know the whole situation.
Yeah, it's possible.
We don't. Yeah. I guess I'm saying, like, we don't know the whole story
right
there. So,
and she is of age. Let me say that she is of age as of now.
But I mean, but again, let's just not assume that.
And then again, they could have met 6 months ago, fell in love, and bought a ring.
Very true.
And one thing I was talking about that I just thought about now deeper is our connection to a significant other is what we can talk about, what we experienced, and what we've done in life.
Right.
Marcus Houston, as being a child star and growing up in that life, he might not have the same struggles we got to worry about and have those same conversations. Is he talking to a 19-year-old about investments, life insurance, and house shopping? Probably not.
They might be talking about sneaks and getting lit. Who knows?
Because that's all they got to worry about in life. They got an accountant, they got this, they got the good life, other people taking care of the normal stuff for them. So the stuff that they relate on is probably a lot of the same stuff when you think about it.
Yeah.
Could be.
And I mean, he has a lot of different. People don't understand. Like, Marcus Houston is living off royalties, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't give him enough credit for what he's done, like musically, acting, and all that. But he's getting substantial checks every month. You know, so he probably does not really worry about the same things we have. You know, I tell people all the time, like, when people was like, well, the NBA players didn't need to kneel because they got to feed their families. Ma'am, you make $38,000 a year. You don't necessarily understand the concept of $38 million a year,
right?
Or even $380,000 a year. That's not me being classist. That's me saying they can afford to go maybe a month, sometimes 2, without a check. Whereas if you miss next week's check,
most people are done.
Yeah, most people are done. So the thing is, I don't want to be accused of applying my thousandaire thoughts to millionaire actualities, and that's kind of what it is right there. Yeah, you know, I'll be deep from time to time. You know what I'm saying? They got to brush our vocabulary off. Hey. But yeah, that's all we got for today, man. I'm exhausted.
My hamburger ass down before he make change.
I'm exhausted, man, physically and mentally. So that's gonna wrap it up for us today, man.
Yep.
You got any final thoughts you want to share with the people, man?
Oh man, let me see. Do I got a bar this week? Yeah, live your best life because ain't nobody else gonna do it for you. It's simple and sweet. So have fun, be reckless, be smart.
That's what's up. What you got?
Hey man, protect your tribe. Don't let people try to bully you into seeing the world that they see it.
Right.
Have your own thoughts.
I can dig that.
Teach these devils.
Mm-hmm. I'm not messing with you today. Damn,
I wish I had a James Brown quote. It seems so appropriate right now.
Yeah. I guess all I gotta say getting out of here is protect your peace and live your life. That's all I got.
That's all we can do.
Yep. We'll catch y'all later.
Peace.
Bye-bye.